Jai Hind to all the future officers. In the previous video, we studied about the combat arms of Indian Army. I mentioned to you that army is divided majorly in two parts, combat arms and support arms. So today we will be studying about the support arms, which are majorly the administration of the Indian Army. Army comprises of different support arms. So the first comes here is Army Medical Corps. So as the name suggests only, all the medical related things happening in the army is related to Army Medical Corps. Currently you have heard the news that India sent the doctors, army doctors to the Turkey and Syria for help. So we can see that Army Medical Corps played a very important role there. So now we will study about the functions of Army Medical Corps. Provide medical support to troops during war and peace. Also issues advisories on health and hygiene for the troops. It also conducts yearly medical exam for troops to check whether they are fit for services or not. Provides medical service to serving and retired soldiers and their families. Now I will just explain you. So, provide medical support to troops during peace and war. As you all know, whether there is war or whether there is peace, the casualties happen in the war also, and when the counterinsurgency operations or any terrorist operation is happening in the peacetime also, then there also the casualties happens. Then Army Medical Corps plays an important role. What health and hygiene should be there for the troops, and according to which the food is prepared for the troops, it is also done by the Army Medical Corps. We all know that for the soldiers or officers, yearly medical examination is conducted to see whether they are fit for services or not. So that is also done by Army Medical Corps. And the fourth thing is provide military services to serving and retired soldiers and their families. We all know that whether they are the veterans or whether they are serving soldiers or their families, they require medical treatment. Army provides them for free, and Army Medical Corps helps them. So here are the images, some of the images of Army Medical Corps. So you can see. Uh, Now, we will study about second, Army Education Corps. As the name only suggests, education. So all the matters related to the education will be held or will be dealt by Army Education Corps. So it has majorly two functions: provide educational training for the promotion examination of troops. We all know that if the promotion of the officers or soldier has to be done, then in the army only the promotional examinations are done, and for that education training, the Army Education Corps plays an important role. We also know that the education is being provided in different academies, like IMA, OTA, Air Force Academy, Naval Academy. Everywhere the education is the core point, and Army Education Corps officers plays a very important role in this. So we can see that here are the Army Education Corps officers. They are just teaching. Okay. Next. Next, gentlemen, we will study about Army Service Corps, largest administrative unit of Indian Army. What are its role? Provide ration to the troops, provide fuel for vehicles and operation logistics to keep the vehicles running. It also keeps huge fleet of vehicles to transport the troops to battlefields and mobilize them. Generally, the Army Service Corps generally has the role of transferring rations from one place to another for the soldiers. First thing. Second thing, they provide the fuel and all the operation required elements which are required by the army to keep the vehicle running. That is also provided by Army Service Corps. And also Army Service Corps keeps large fleet of vehicles, so that whenever in the wartime, we all know that if assume that war is happening at the Kashmir region and all the troops are present in different parts of India, so they have so much of vehicles that they can transport the troops from different parts of India to Kashmir. Just assume it. So this is the Army Service Corps. So this is the image you where you can relate at different higher battlefields or different higher grounds also, where the donkeys have to carry the other food and ration and all. So there also the Army Service Corps plays an important role. Okay. So fourth, Army Ordnance Corps. It provides complete range of clothing items, tent materials, spare parts and spare tools. It also maintains and supply the ammunition for training and operation. If you have heard that in the current scenario, the ordnance factory has been set up in Tamil Nadu and Uttar Pradesh. What does the ordnance factory do? Ordnance factory manufactures weaponries for the Indian armed forces. So Army Ordnance Corps has the same function. It just supplies, makes the ammunition and supplies the ammunition to Indian Army. Now Army, whether it is used for training or operations. Second thing, it provides complete range of clothing. All the clothing, whether it is weared in Siachen or any different operational dresses, all are made by Ordnance Corps. All the tent material, the spare parts, spare tools, everything is made by Ordnance Corps. Next, we will come to Core of Electronics and Mechanical Engineers. Gentlemen, whenever this name comes, you can relate it with repair work. Whenever this name of electronics and mechanical engineers come, you can just relate it with the repair work. So it is responsible for repair and maintenance of vehicles and the weapon system that is held with forces, and also ensures it remains battle worthy all the time. During operation also, they are responsible for recovering the damaged vehicles and putting them on road again. This plays an important role in wartime. So gentlemen, whether there is maintenance of any vehicle, maintenance of any weaponry, then electronic and mechanical engineers plays important role in the wartime also. When different missiles and different weaponries are used, so vehicles get damaged, at that time also it is important to repair the vehicle and put it back so it can be used during wartime again. So electronics and mechanical engineer core plays an important role. Now comes the intelligence core. Intelligence core, as its the name suggests, ears and eyes of the army, provides intel during operations to soldiers by collecting information and data. Whether all the counterinsurgency operations that are happening, they are done on the basis of intel, on the basis of the information which is provided by the intelligence corps. Okay, intelligence corps, generally the officers, soldiers are there, they just do the research, they get the information from the local informers, then they confirm the information whether it is true or not, and then they supply to the infantry soldiers and they carry out the operations. So it is the function of intelligence corps. Now, seventh, we will come to core of military police. It polices the cantonments and army establishment. Polices means it protects. If you will enter the army cant, you will see that there are guards at the gates, they are doing the checking, and there are different guards at the army headquarters, the police, army cantonments. So these all guards are from core of military police. It also prevents breach of rules and regulation of the Indian army by soldiers serving in the regular army. If you have seen the movie Surya the Soldier, then you can relate it better. You have, if you have seen in the one of the scene, the hero just speaks louder in the voice in front of the general when the court martial is being done, and then he just kicks the gate with his legs, then he's beaten beatly by the soldiers. So these were also the core of military police only. Why? Because it is very important to maintain rules and regulation of the Indian army, to see whether they are not broken by any of the soldiers, so that army remains in discipline. Okay, so these images are from army ordnance corps. I have mentioned they make all the weaponries. This also, uh, this is the image of core of electronics and mechanical engineers, they do all the repair work. So this is the core of military police. So now, more, Corps of Military Police also investigates the cases of Indian Army. All the cases which are happening, whether if you have heard recently in the Air Force Academy, one girl candidate complained that she was being raped. So these all cases which are happening in Indian Army or Indian Army, so these are all being handled by Corps of Military Police. They also handle the prisoners of war. They provide close protection to chief of army staff. So they wear red berets, you can see in this image. They also wear white lanyard. So if you are seeing that in her the girl's right shoulder, you can see the white stripe. So this is known as white lanyard and the belts. Okay. So now we will come to remount and veterinary corps. So veterinary doctor, you all have heard that if your dog is injured or if he is ill, if your cow is ill, you will just say that call the veterinary doctor. So remount and veterinary corps refers to animals. They are responsible for procurement, breeding, and training of all the animals that are held with army, which includes horses, mules, cows, and dogs. They also ensures prevention and treatment of diseases which are caused to animals that are held by army. Now I will explain you. So procurement means just selecting, buying, purchasing, or just taking. Breeding means they are just taken care of. And training, horses are trained in different way. If you have heard about the canine squad of the dogs, they operate with the infantry soldiers in the operations also. So all the training work, procurement work, breeding work, all this is done by remount and veterinary corps of different animals. Matlab, all the animals which are held by the army, the remount and veterinary corps does all the three parts: procurement, breeding, and training. So one thing is done. The second thing, they also ensure that all the animals are disease free and does their time to time treatment and checking. Now, ninth, Army Dental Corps. Dental means teeth. Anything which is related to the teeth, it is handled by Army Dental Corps. So they are also the type of doctors only. Army Medical Corps is contains doctors. Army Dental Corps also have doctors, but related to the teeth. Provides dental care to all the serving as well as retired army personals and their families. Now, Judge Advocate General. So Judge Advocate General, as the name suggests, only it is related to the law only. Okay, provide legal advice to the formation of courts and above. So gentlemen, when we will study about the structure of Indian Army, so you will know that third comes corps, then second comes division, and first come the leader, which is the army chief. So corps and above, they all are given the legal advice by judge advocate general in the matters of army. They also conduct the court martial, that is to punish service personals who have defaulted on various accounts. If you have seen the movie of the Brigadier Pratap, then you would have known, gentlemen, that how the court martial was carried on, and all the judges which were sitting there who carried the court martial were the judge advocate generals. Okay, so last, that is the 11th, comes the army postal service. Postals means letters, generally you can relate it with the letters. This postal service now does not plays very much important role, but it is the largest postal system in the whole world. Okay, so these are the images of army dental corps, and this is the image of army postal service. So next, yeah, this is the images of a remount and veterinary corps. The horses, they are trained for parades and all. Then the dogs which are there, they are also trained. So remount and veterinary corps. So now the last part of army postal service corps. Apart from traditional mail services like postcards, inland letters, envelope, parcels, they also provide premium mail services like speed posts and supply of newspaper and magazines. And other than that, they provide services to armed forces personals serving in India as well as United Nations mission. So generally all the postal services, if we just overall or if we just total it, all the postal service related things are handled by Army Postal Services in the Indian Army. So gentlemen, this is all about the today's video on services of Indian Army. So I hope you like the video. Do share the video, and if you have any comments, then please comment me, and so that I can also improve. Thank you.